Today, I'm going to start a four-part series that I'm going to teach you how to multi-app from the very beginning basics up to some advanced techniques that are going to really help you get up to that $25 to $30 an hour. My name is John McFall, and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel, where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery. In today's video, I want to start you off with a good foundation that's going to lay the groundwork for you to be able to build on and get out there to be able to make that $25 to $30 an hour. Multi-apping, if you do it the right way, everybody is served, everybody is happy, you're on time with all your orders, and you're making really good money. There's a right way to do multi-apping and there is a wrong way to do multi-apping. So today I'm going to start by teaching what you need to know to do it the right way. If you get value out of today's video, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. When I first started doing multi-apping, I did it horribly wrong. I wanted to go over the first time I actually decided to try multi-apping. And the reason I decided to try multi-apping myself is because the platforms, when you're out there doing food delivery, they have no problem sending you stacked orders. In other words, they send you more than one order at a time on a single platform and have you go pick up both of the orders either at the same restaurant or two different restaurants, and then you take both of those deliveries and drop them off to their respective drop-off locations. So in my mind, I thought, well, if these food delivery platforms are okay with me taking two deliveries on a single platform, why not integrate that into working on multiple apps at the same time, grabbing orders for both platforms and taking those deliveries and dropping them off. The one thing I want to talk about is my very first one, which is a order that I got on DoorDash, and it was picking up from an Arby's. And I don't remember the second restaurant, but I picked up an order then on Uber Eats, and it was at a restaurant that was right next to the pickup location for DoorDash at Arby's, and I thought to myself, well, this is really good. I can pick orders up right next to each other at the similar restaurants, and then I can go deliver those and put more money into my pocket. Well, I got both of the orders and I went to drop off the first one, and about halfway to that first drop, I realized that I made a huge mistake because although the restaurants were right next to each other, the DoorDash order was taking me way over here to drop it off. And as I was driving, I realized that I was driving way far away from my drop-off to my Uber Eats delivery. And this is something that can really hinder you doing multi-apping, because if you grab an order from the same restaurant or restaurants right next to each other and they're going completely opposite directions, you're going to have a huge problem because you're not going to meet the time. By the time I dropped off that first order and made it all the way about 20 minutes away, it was about 13 miles, some of it was on the freeway. By the time I got to that drop off for Uber Eats, I was extremely late, and they, fortunately for me, didn't send me any negative comments about it. I guess they thought I was new, so they just chalked it up to being green and didn't do anything about it. But I knew that I made the mistake, and this is something that you really should avoid doing. When you're starting out and want to get multiple orders on multiple apps, you've got to make sure of a couple of things. The first thing is it has to be at the same restaurant or restaurants that are right next to each other, so that you are not going to be too far away from one pickup to the next. The second thing you really got to take into consideration is the actual drop-off locations. Yes, it's great to pick up orders that are right next to each other, but if the drop-offs are so far apart that it's going to take you too long, you don't want to grab these orders. So when you're looking at multi-apping, you got to make sure that the orders are dropping off in the same location, or you pick up from one or two different restaurants and you drop one off that's in the direction to drop off your second one. Time is really critical on these apps, and the biggest factor that is going against you is the time. So when you're looking at multi-apping, you've got to make sure that you have the time and you know where they're picking up and they are dropping off at. My best multi-apping that I did was a shift that I went out about a year and a half ago. I was making a drop off, and when I got done with that drop off, I started heading back to my closest sweet spot, and GrubHub sent me an order. It was from a pizza place, and I was about 3/4 of a mile from that pizza place, so I went and placed the order at that restaurant and asked them how long it was going to be. They told me it was going to be a half hour, so I knew I had a half hour of time, and I was able to grab another order. That order from GrubHub was paying me about $15 to drive about 4 miles. Well, after I accepted that order and before I got to the restaurant, Uber Eats sent me a request. This was from a restaurant that was about a mile and a half away, and it was paying me $29 to go about a half a mile. It was picking up at a local burger joint and dropping off to a hotel that was really close. So I actually called that order in for Uber Eats, and they told me it was going to be about 45 minutes. So at this time, I had one order on GrubHub, and it was going to take me about 35 minutes before I could pick it up. It was an order and pay, and then I had a second order from Uber Eats that was going to be about 45 minutes. So I knew at that time I still had 25 minutes, so I turned on DoorDash. DoorDash sent me an order that was $12, and it was going about 5 miles. And I knew I had the time to do it because I knew the restaurant that I was picking up from was quick. So I went and grabbed that order on DoorDash, and I got that order delivered. By the time I got done with that, I drove to the restaurant for GrubHub. That order was ready, and I took that about 3 miles from the restaurant to go deliver that. By the time that was done, Uber Eats was ready to pick up, so I went and picked up that, drove that a half a mile, and finished that Uber Eats delivery. So I had a DoorDash order, a GrubHub order, and an Uber Eats order all at the same time. The Uber Eats order, after the hour when the customer can change the tip, it ended up being around $45. So literally in about an hour and 15 minutes, I had made about $75. This is a really good one, and it's not something that happens all the time, but as a multi-apper, you have these opportunities if you do it the right way. So one thing about multi-apping, it is very market dependent. I work here in Auburn, Indiana, and it is a population of about 15,000 people. The only app that really works in that marketplace is DoorDash. I can turn Uber Eats on, but sometimes I go a whole shift without getting orders, and GrubHub is not up there, so I cannot multi-app them. If you go here to Fort Wayne, then, if you look at this city, it's a population of about 265,000 people, and there are DoorDash, GrubHub, and Uber Eats in this marketplace. So it's a marketplace that I can multi-app in all the time because it's such a big place and all three of them are there. The real start and the real foundation of multi-apping is you've got to make sure that your marketplace can sustain it and you can get on all three apps to be able to get out there and multi-app in the first place. The second thing you need to do, and what I've done here in Fort Wayne, is if you look at this map, you see I have 5 what I call sweet spots, and these are areas in this marketplace that I can pick up orders from DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub, and I consistently get orders out of these areas for all three of the platforms. The drop-off location is really important because you want to make sure that you're getting a drop-off location that's close to one of these sweet spots. So what you need to do is you need to take DoorDash, Uber Eats, and GrubHub individually, go throughout your marketplace and see where your sweet spots are. Find these areas, at least 3, I'd say 3 to 4 minimum, of areas that you can go into and get orders consistently on all of these platforms. And then what you can do is, once you find these sweet spots, these are the areas that you want to concentrate on when you're out there working your shifts so that you can make sure that you're getting the orders that you're looking to take. Once you find your sweet spots, then you're going to be able to start seeing orders on all of the platforms at the same time. This is going to give you an opportunity because sometimes you'll get orders on all three of the platforms at the same time, and you can pick the best one for you. And then what you want to do when you start multi-apping is take baby steps into this so you don't overwhelm yourself and you get too far behind. Start by taking an order on a platform, making sure that you understand what the restaurant is, because you want a quick one. You want to make sure you understand where the drop-off location is, and you want to make sure that you understand how much time the app is giving you for that order. If the order is, let's say, a mile and they're giving you 20 minutes to do it, and you know that you can pick up that restaurant really quickly, you could actually get that order done, let's say in 5 or 7 minutes completely. So you know you have 13 minutes of time that you have to work with to be able to grab an order on another platform. So if you find that you have the time to do it and you know that you can, look at the other apps and see what they're offering you at the same time in that area. And don't hesitate to grab an order from another platform if the situation allows, and go out and get that money. And then what you can do is you can go pick up at the same or a restaurant that's right next door to each other. And then, as I said, when you take the deliveries, make sure the drop-off locations are in the same place, or you pick up from the restaurants and you drop off one and it's on the way to drop off the second one. So this is kind of where the foundation of multi-apping is, and this is how you can get started in it. So take these lessons and start applying them into your marketplace to see if you can start doing some multi-apping. And next week I'm going to get into some more details and some more things that you have to think about as a multi-apper. And as I do these videos, I'm going to put links to all of them in the descriptions for this 4-part series so you guys can grab them. I would also like to ask you again to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. One thing that's really going to help you when you're doing food delivery is to make sure that you are keeping track of your numbers, especially when you're a multi-apper and you're grabbing orders on multiple platforms. You want to know how well you're doing overall, and I'm going to throw up my metric spreadsheet so you guys can check it out. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total time that I've worked. I also put in the miles. If you head to the right then for each individual app, you'll see I put the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, along with the number of deliveries. Head to the bottom and you'll see it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, and your average per order. To get better at doing food delivery and multi-apping, it starts by knowing where you are and seeing where you need to improve. So go grab this free download for yourself, and you can put your numbers in there and see where you are and start checking out where you can improve. Also, want to remind you that if you want to learn how to do food delivery, go to my food delivery playlist, and it is chock full of lessons that are going to teach you what you need to know to make that $25 to $30 an hour. Check out this video on Multi-Apping 101. It goes over some more basics, and it'll really help you out. Want to leave you with, I hope that you are out there making the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.